Hey Badgers, I'm Chef Michael Ritz from Isaac's Bar and Grill here at Union Station. Here to show you one of my favorite holiday treats that I like to make, shortbread. They're delicious, they're simple, they're easy to make, chocked full of butter, flavor, and to me they are a real holiday tradition, especially around my house, so I'd like to share that with you. It takes four basic ingredients: some all-purpose flour, some salt, some sugar, and butter. It has to be butter. It can't be margarine. Reason for that is the margarine doesn't have the right consistency as butter does, so they won't form as well as they should if it wasn't with butter. So normally you would use a food processor to do this, but not everybody has access to a food processor. So I'm gonna do it by hand for you guys today. So I've got my flour ready to go here. I've sifted it so that there is no lumps in my flour. We don't want any of that, otherwise when we bite into a shortbread, we'll get a lump of flour, and that's not very tasty. So I got my flour here. I'm gonna take my butter, and it's been sitting out at room temperature, so it's nice and soft, easy to work with. I'm gonna put it into my flour here. And I'm gonna use my hands and start to squeeze the butter into the flour. Just like this. And we call this rubbing the fat into the flour, or rolling the fat into the flour. And it's really easy to do. You can take your hands and run it between your hands, trying to get all of that butter into the flour. Nice and easy. If you make a bit of a mess, that's okay. It wouldn't be holiday baking without making a bit of a mess. So you can see now it's starting to kind of come together. It's making it sort of pliable, like I always say, like Play-Doh. That's the easiest association that I can think of with it. I'm gonna add my sugar in now and start to mix the sugar in, as well as the salt. So start to work that into the dough as well. And you notice I don't have any water. It's mostly the fat that works as the liquid in this, so the butter. Sometimes you may have to add just a touch of water. It depends on where you live, the flour, all that kind of stuff, the humidity in the air. So sometimes you might have to add some water. I know we're getting very technical, but baking is a very precise art. You gotta be precise sometimes. So you can see it's kind of come together now. It's gonna look crumbly and dry. That's okay, that's what we're looking for. Again, if it's too crumbly and too dry and it doesn't look like the fat is going into the flour well enough, you can always add just a tablespoon of water, and that'll definitely help out. Okay, so now my shortbread dough is ready to go. So I'll get my pan ready. My oven is set to 350 degrees that these will go in to bake for. And I'm gonna take a little bit of butter. I'm just gonna grease the pan with it. This will help them not to stick when they go to bake. I wanna get all around sides, the edges, and the corners. You can use any type of baking dish you like. You can use a glass one, you can use a metal one. You can use a cookie sheet if you'd like. It's entirely up to you. Whatever you have works best. Just as long as it's oven safe, that's all that matters. Okay, then I'm gonna take my dough and I'm just going to pour it into there and spread it out as evenly as I can into, and just press down and press it into the pan so that it forms into the pan. Doesn't have to be perfect. Half of the fun of baking is it doesn't have to be perfect. So, once we have it all pressed in, then we can make sure we get it as even as possible so that it bakes as even as possible. Okay. And then what you can do is if you want to give it that real traditional classic shortbread look, so you can take a fork and you can make little pinholes using the points of the fork all the way down. Just like that. And that is going to go into the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. And we will see you after. Our shortbreads have come out of the oven. You can kind of see what we're looking for is a little bit of a tiny golden brown color. You can see around the edges. And you can see on the top just a little bit. Nothing too crazy. We don't want a lot of color on here. And if you were to just feel it, it feels firm. That's what we're looking for, to know that it's done. Sometimes it can take shorter amount of time, sometimes it can take longer. This took 20 minutes to do, as opposed to 10 to 12. So it all depends on the batch you make and your oven and all that kind of stuff. So you just have to pay attention and just watch and be careful. But after this, I will let them cool on a rack and then cut them up. And that's when you would get to enjoy them. I hope you all had fun watching this little video. Simple recipe for the holidays, but it's very delicious, and it's one of my favorites, I guess I would say. Yeah, so the recipe will be posted. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you.